If y'all see me wearing all red today, it's for a reason. This represents a code red for all the blacks in America. The majority of the so-called blacks are deaf, dumb, and blind and not aware of the situation. They're not conscious of history, science, government, politics, religion, God. They're not aware of themselves. These things were taken away from our people during slavery. My duty is to redeem my people. I'm just going to take a few minutes and let the Spirit of the Almighty and our ancestors take control. As I am an instrument of God, a reincarnation of John the Baptist, my duty is to purify my people from the commercial identifications that have been marked upon them by this beast, this animalistic entity that occupies North America. My people have been slaves under the United States since the 1700s, even prior to the declaration of their independence. And from 1779 all the way until 1865, commercial trade names have been marked and placed, engraved, embroidered, and branded upon the so-called blacks, my people, the Asiatics in America, descendants of the ancient Moabites, cousins to the Israelites, descendants of Noah. Tribes from the Moorish nation, Asiatic Americans, descendants of Moroccans that dwelled on the shores of Africa. Prior to the 1800s, during the declarations of independence from the Moorish Empire, the African tribes proclaimed autonomy upon the shores. Morocco was the capital during such time. The Moors received permission from the ancient pharaohs of Egypt, the Comedian rulers, to settle upon the African shores. The Moors are the first indigenous inhabitants to the continental Americas. Prior to those Aztecs and Mongoloids, which today have been misnomered by the Europeans as Indians. These Mongoloid tribes sojourned to the Americas and received permission from us to settle and inhabit in North America. They had their own territories mapped out prior to the European colonization of the continental Americas, French and others. Prior to the great earthquake, a city called Atlantis stretched between North America and what is present-day called Africa. This was one landmass called Amexem. In the beginning, it was called Asia. Amexem is the true and divine name for Africa. The city Atlantis fell underwater due to an earthquake that caused the Atlantic Ocean. The Moors, descendants of Africans, descendants of the ancient Moabites, inhabited the North Americas as the indigenous original inhabitants prior to any settlement of any Europeans, which came to this country and received mandate to settle, to colonize, and to develop in North America until 1921. Such mandate has expired. Wars were fought over territories in North America, as we can reconsider the Gettysburg Address and the speech of Abraham Lincoln, whom declared he would not free a single slave, but only to save the Union. These wars were fought over territories having no relation to slavery. My people have been slaves for some time, from Africa to North America and all over. This is not a matter today of slavery. I speak on slavery because my people have been registered as slaves under U.S. government. They have not been registered as citizens. The Dred Scott decision in 1857 declares blacks could never be citizens, as black is a European term of commerce having no legal standing, will only ever be recognized as articles of property and objects of commerce in the strictest sense of the term. That black is a very tricky thing there. Very tricky, because that is an identification that was placed upon our people, and it has no legal standing, has no legal standing, will only be recognized as articles of property and objects of commerce in the strictest sense of the term. Whereas the 14th Amendment itself declared intentionally, specifically, and originally with the purpose of giving foreign aid to the so-called blacks 3 years after the abolition of chattel slavery. For some strange reason, after the United States was in debt, they began to sell so-called blacks on birth certificates. Let me give you an example of today's stock market and the federal bonds placed upon so-called blacks. I will be the first example. I speak for myself and all those who would stand with me today to represent my own government, my own entity, and repatriation to Africa, and not to cause any conflict with the present day occupants of the federal government, but to contact me when you are ready to assist me in the full repatriation and the partnership with the African Union. Allow me to demonstrate my commercial stock in federal bonds not witnessed by a federal government since birth. That's legal documentation that I have. For those who don't understand, you would be inclined to assume, under presumption, that that is a birth certificate. In fact, that is not a birth certificate. That is a replica of a birth certificate sealed into a federal 14th Amendment bonding instrument, having no legal bonds as it pertains to citizenship. All such persons born could never be citizens without federal witnesses. These federal bonds are upon my commercial stock, and I speak for myself. This would demonstrate being sealed upon all other 70 million blacks in America, which I do not represent these so-called blacks until they request that I represent them. If they would come and wish to join my family, or join under any stock that I represent. I would represent my people. I would assist the United States government in representation if they needed my assistance, which, to be fair and to be just, Donald Trump should appoint an Asiatic assistant in these matters of repatriation for so-called black people. I'm willing to assist whoever would need my assistance in establishing some type of order. But as it pertains to this repatriation under my own government, declared, not in any rebellion, but to establish order, I proclaim this government before the United States, and have proclaimed this government before the federal government, that they can recognize that I can move in repatriation in partnership with the African Union and in full repatriation to Africa, as well as a natural retention of my birthrights in America, holding these federal bonded documents. I owe no debts, but this federal debt is owed to me, having a high value here, this stock worth several million for those who would investigate. I'm coming before the Trump administration at this juncture to request your assistance in repatriation to the African continent and my partnership with the African Union, as well as BRICS and others, to fortify an establishment and to facilitate my own currency, our own banks, that the United States would have someone to lean upon, having no legs to stand upon, having no legal standing as a corporate entity, a foreign corporate entity conducting trade and commerce in America today. I'm here to assist those whites who continue to call for the so-called blacks to assist, because they're not going to stand up, because they don't have knowledge of self. But me, being a reincarnation of John the Baptist, I will teach Christianity. I will teach you Islam. I will teach you history. I will teach you about this straw man. Created by the 14th Amendment for all persons born, to entrap, to enslave, to ensnare, to disenfranchise, to denationalize, to ostracize a whole nation of Moorish people under the labels of Negro, black, and colored. These are slave trademarks registered by the United States government as commercial property. They are not nationalities, they are commercial properties. It's not an argument. That is just a statement. It could be neither here nor there, for the truth stands, having all persons born or naturalized in the United States under federal bonds. They don't have any federal witnesses. So the state has witnessed my stock, and I'm ready to liquidate that into BRICS currency and other currencies, as well as U.S. currency, maybe other European currencies. Whatever would be good and the United States would see fit to the balance at this juncture. I just stand in a conflict to assist those good old white men that's calling for assistance. That's what I'm here for. You can call me John the Baptist. I teach Christianity, but as a Muslim, I renounce Christianity and I return to Islam, not the Islam of Muhammad, but respecting and honoring the Prophet Muhammad. We honor all prophets: Jesus, Moses, Jeremiah, Ezekiel. We honor Christianity, and we would teach the teachings of Jesus and be welcome to come to your church if invited to teach the truth. We respect Christianity, and we have our own African Islamic teachings of Asia, such as Confucianism, Buddhism, and the teachings of India, the teachings of Kemet. Respecting the teachings of Noble Jew Ali, who is the head of this movement, standing next to Mosiah Marcus Garvey, the forerunner to this movement and the unification of Africa, trade, import, and export with the nations of Europe. At this time, my mission is to teach the nations of Africa their lost Moorish heritage, to restore order to the chaos and the confusion across the African continent. I have no interest in the politics across Africa or America. I speak. I don't have any interest in causing any uproar or any chaos, any confusion, any destruction, any rebellion, any act of disrespect toward the United States government. It's no act of aggression in proclaiming my own government. It is to secure that which the United States government cannot secure due to liability, lack of accountability, state witness commercial property that only I can take full ownership and accountability in repatriation, to liquidate and to nationalize this livestock. And the Trump administration knows exactly what I'm saying. Federal government who takes interest, CIA who takes interest. I'm ready to return to Africa and to set up order for my people who wants to return. And those others who are prophesied to die will die, as I call this code red, under the power of God Almighty, in this call to the church, in this call to the Trump administration. What else could be said at this juncture? We could speak on the scriptures. I have plenty of shorts on my channel that you can watch as I continue to upload. I make jokes. I come about it in so many different ways, speaking, as it pertains to the truth and what we're suffering in America. But I don't have any opinion. I don't have any revolution. I don't have any movement. I have a mission. My mission is to proclaim my government before the African Union, the United Nations, and especially the United States government, that I will move with sovereignty and be willing to negotiate with the nations of Africa as it pertains to settlement, lands, territories, repatriation, banking, finances, institutions, schoolings, religion, economics, import, trade, export, and many different businesses that we will be innovating. The time has come, and this is a code red that I call before the United States government concerning all blacks in America, and especially myself, as I speak for myself and any of those who choose to get on board. For those who get on board, you need to know and understand that you're a captain, you're a general. I don't tell you what to do. We are all messiahs. If a man can't stand on his own 2 feet, he can't walk behind me. Ain't nobody walking behind me. Pursuant to the book of Joel, according to the book of Joel, in the book of Joel speaks of this divine army in chapter 2, that every man would walk in his own lane and neither one would thrust another, that he would hold his own sword. It would be straight. See, these messiahs of my people that will be rising have God in them. Those who are not will die. You will know these people by their fruits. They won't need any leader. Today, my people don't need any leaders. They're not. They're not a stock of people that requisition leadership. My people are living entities, one with the Almighty. They don't need any leaders. But that pretty much sums up my code red. Let me take a look at my notes here for the United States government and all governments. This is a national executive proclamation from my office, basically. And as I say that, I pray that this video and anything that you receive from me reaches you in well doing. My people are going to need warehouses. If you will look through my channel, I have plenty of shorts up. I don't have a lot of videos because there's not a lot to say. This is, we're not asking for anything. I'm presenting to you, offering you my hand in unity to facilitate this business where the United States government is having a difficulty in doing business, and such will continue to be very strenuous, and every wheel of industry is coming to a halt in the United States. And it is apparent that the United States will not be able to do any business except through me. And that's what I'm here for. And I'm here to assist in any way that I can, and to get my people in order for this code red here that we have. I do call a code red for all blacks in the United States to make preparation, to fall under your own government, to govern yourself, to civilize yourself, to get back to the teachings of your ancestors, to come under God, to humble yourself, to follow some type of system of order, some type of code of ethics in how you moving, in how you channeling your behavior out here, in your character and conduct, as it pertains to society and being civilized and taking care of you and yours and your family and being a man. Many of us will be repatriating in the physical to Africa. Others may want to remain in America, but there's still going to have to be some order. This is not a social movement here. This is something that must be done, and we're not going to be sitting around discussing it. Those of us who are ready to do such will be standing and taking this stand and making these moves across the waters. Others will be here gathering. I'm just one up here to speak for myself as I spearhead, being a forerunner for this great big kingdom of God, and assisting the United States government and assisting all the governments around the world to organize and teach about the Moorish Empire, and to assist in removing blacks as a cancer on the body of the United States government, a tumor on the body of the state. To remove them and to set them in their own land with some order, under their own authority, where they won't need any foreign aid. So let us make that a closing statement. We do not need the 14th Amendment for our salvation. We have our own government. We have our own nationality. We have a handful of nations in Africa, and we have the resources that we need in Africa. We don't need any foreign aid from the United States as it pertains to citizenship or any social, economic identity that would be branded upon us to exist as to supplement that real, true, legal, national standing name. That would be the base for our rights. That would be the foundation of our existence. That would be the foundation of mankind. We were taught by Noble Drew Ali that nationality is the foundation of mankind. Anytime we was found in a land and we didn't proclaim our nationality, we would be a slave. So we know that we are registered in the courts as slaves. That's registered in Person County, North Carolina. I'm registered as a slave in that court. I don't, that's neither here nor there. I don't have any, I'm not at odds. I'm not in opposition to anything. I'm not a rebel of any kind. I'm just here to assist. And I know that in order to do this business, the United States government is going to need someone to stand that can be recognized having their own authority. So that authority is presented properly, as it needs to be presented, to give the United States the proper presentation to see, to recognize, and to be able to acknowledge such a presentation that is civilized, that can be honored and recognized, linking with the families of nations, as opposed to existing under the status of being a Negro receiving foreign aid due to lack of civilized knowledge in conducting business. We are here. And for those whites who wish to contact me, you are definitely welcome to contact me. I'm here to assist and to move on. I'm not going to be stirring up any political acts here in America. We have so much work to do in setting up warehouses and making sure that our people don't starve we will have to come back from any ashes or any assistance that can be uh, uh, found after we set ourselves up. But we have so much work to do in bringing our people to the fold and teaching them who they are, in setting up housing. We have so much unlimited work to do in setting up warehouses. We have so many warehouses that need to be set up so that we can set up our stocks to organize ourselves. We have secretaries that are going to need to be called out. We have meetings that need to be conducted with the United States government. We have so many things that need to be done. So at this time, I'm grateful, that the people were here, and those who did get a chance to see this video. This is the last video that I'm going to be making. I have a full documentation supported by birth records for all those who are ready. Full government infrastructure drafted. Full Declaration of Independence drafted. Full Declaration of Autonomy drafted. And full contracts for Moorish citizenship for all blacks who are seeking reparations and repatriation to Africa, and full settlement in the proper lands, and ready to govern yourselves as a civilized people, respectfully, and assisting the Europeans, the white people on this land also, in their developments and their security, as they also face some dark times. We are here to assist. My office is here to assist. And it's a beautiful thing. Just to see the sun goes down, it's just confirmation here, in this great big code reader, what it really is, y'all. It's really real, y'all. But y'all understand as the sun goes down, it's close to wintertime, and this is not going to be, the scriptures have told us to pray that our flight is not in the winter. Everything that we're coming up against now, and so much more coming to unfold. The scriptures have pretty much been fulfilled, and it's not much else to say. I bid everybody Godspeed. Let us work together. It's not gonna be hard to contact me. I'm gonna have everything. Y'all can just check out my channel. It's nothing fancy. It's just a major move. This is my checkout and repatriation to Africa. I'm probably gonna put together a few more shorts, but there's really not a lot to say. It's just definitely time for me to sit down with the United States government, hopefully the Trump administration, and get to this business in whatever would be a peaceful exodus for my people, and the full assistance to the United States government and those people who need my help, so to speak, where there is friction and a lot of tension between races. I'm here to operate in my own capacity as a sovereign national, and to be a liaison, a diplomat, an executive, and a peacemaker, whatever needs to be done to liberate and to bring about peace, justice, love, truth, and freedom. Power to the people, and God bless everybody. All the proper people, y'all contact me, and let's get to this business.